The UK government announced a 5-point plan on how they are going to cut net migration into the UK. Now, there has been a series of articles published on the government website, and recently people have claimed that the UK government said that if you are already in the UK and you have your dependents, then you can stay with your dependents if you switch to a care worker route. Now, I'm going to be explaining every single thing in this particular video and tell you my opinion and stand on this particular thing. I don't want anybody to be disappointed. I don't want anybody to overstay in this country, because if you overstay, it's a big problem for you. If you overstay by just 1 hour, oh my goodness, the probability of you coming back into the UK or maybe entering any other country, there's what they call the 5 Eyes: Australia, New Zealand, US, UK, and Canada. Yes, and Canada. They share information. They share immigration information. And if you default in one country, you are likely to be rejected, as in not being allowed to enter any of these other countries. I feel it's very important that you listen to what I have to share in this video. And if you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Cynthia. I share information that will help your transition abroad to be as smooth as possible. I share information about settling, working, or studying in the UK, US, or Canada. If any of these countries interest you, please subscribe to this channel. Hit on the notification bell so that each time I drop a new video, you know it's time to watch Cynthia Academy. And without wasting time, let's get into this video. Now, I'm going to be sharing my screen so that you can see the exact words as published on the government website. This particular website is www.gov.uk/government. You can see there's no blog there, and the title of this particular article is Net Migration Measures Further Details, and it was published on 21st of December 2023, and the last update was 5th of January 2024. That was where they announced that 6145 and 6146 already on the route will be able to remain with their dependents. So that is clear. Everybody knows that if you're already in a care worker in the UK and maybe you need to switch to another care job in the UK, you can still bring your dependents and you can still stay with your dependents. Now, there is a very tricky aspect in this article that is causing a lot of confusion, because when they published this, they also stated that individuals who are in the UK or on any other routes, including where the route permits dependents who switch into the care visa as a care worker or senior care worker after this date, will not be able to stay with, in bracket, or bring over dependents. So what does this mean? It means that if you are already in the UK with your dependents and you want to switch to a care worker route, which is maybe the existing route you are in is not a care worker route, so you just want to switch to be a care worker under the code 6145 and 6146, you cannot stay with your dependents and you cannot bring your dependents. And that has raised a lot of questions on, so if my dependents are here, would they have to go back home, you know, when their visa expires? I don't want them to overstay. Do they have to go back to their home country? Now, there's a latest article on the 1st of February 2024. Look at the address there. It says homeofficemedia.blog.gov.uk. So it's a blog. As you can see here, the question, what happens to care workers and providers who are already here? The area of interest that has caused a lot of confusion and a lot of panic too is that the third bullet point there says individuals who are in the UK on any other routes, including where that route permits dependents who switch into the care visa as a care worker or senior care worker after rules change, will not be able to bring over dependents. So people have assumed that because they stay with is no longer there, therefore they allow people to stay with their dependents if they switch into a care worker route. And I'm going to share my opinion on this. Now, an omission does not actually mean a permission. I just have to say it there. Number one, this is a blog. So it's not like the proper government website. It's a government website, don't get me wrong, but it's a blog. It means that someone translated it here. And I feel that this might be an omission. Remember, I published a video a few while ago when I explained to you when there were two sayings on the NHS website. One was saying that NHS care workers can bring their dependents or stay with their dependents, while the other one was saying that NHS care workers cannot do so. So one was saying that NHS care workers will not be affected, but the other one updated it and said it can be affected. Now, because March 11th is coming very close, and I don't want anybody to overstay, I would say the best thing for you is to plan accordingly. I don't want you to stay an extra hour and then defeat the purpose. If things change, then, oh my goodness, oh, you've defaulted already. Make adequate preparations. For those of you that have asked me this question, okay, if I get a COS under the care worker option and my wife gets a COS under the care worker option, so what happens to our kids? I don't have an answer for that, but I would say the first thing you have to do is not just to listen to all of us. Call the government on their contact number. Also remember that even those people that receive the call at the other end are people employed by the government, and they are told to, okay, if you hear this question, respond this way, and they just respond. They read what they have on the screen to you. So number one, call the government to confirm anything you are going to make, any decision you are going to make. It's very important. Two, please, there are many other options. I've shared on this channel other options that you can choose: nursing assistant, mental health assistant, therapy assistant, pharmacy assistant. I've shared many others. You can explore this option, and you don't need prior qualification to be able to be eligible for this role. Like I always explain to you people, that these roles are mostly NHS roles, and with NHS roles you have to be intentional about your CV. You have to be intentional about how you write your supporting information, because that is the key. I would advise you to use the tools I've shared on this channel to tailor your CV and supporting information to meet the descriptions that are listed on the website. I'm talking about the job adverts on the website. Please tailor it so that the keywords that they are looking for matches, and when they rank your application, it goes up there, and your application is not automatically deleted, because a lot of people are applying for that same job all over the world, from Malaysia, China, Nigeria, everywhere, and everybody wants that NHS job because they know that if they apply for it, they can come into this country without paying for IHS fees. You know that IHS fees are crazy right now. So I just want to encourage you right now that please prepare yourself for a disappointment, and don't say, oh, I think they have made an agreement that we can stay with our dependents, so no problem. See, right now it's very difficult to get COS, and you are aware that many people's license have been revoked. There is nobody that doesn't know someone that is going back home this February. Both students, post-study work visa, even people that have been hoping and banking on getting, as in they already have their COS, they are in the country, they're not getting enough hours, and suddenly they pull the plug. That is, their employer's license has been revoked. And what happens afterwards? They are stuck. They are given 60 days to leave the country or switch to another visa. I don't want that to happen to you. All I can advise you to do is, see, if you know that area of specialization you had before you came into the UK, you can explore that option. Many employers, I'm talking about other companies, are recruiting because they want to hurry up before April. You know what happens in April? In April, minimum salary threshold for skilled worker visa will rise to 38,700. And many of these employers feel they cannot be able to afford it. And so they are recruiting. They are recruiting massively to see if they can, breach that huge gap of IT or admin officer or whatever it is. They need to bridge it. before that 38,700 minimum salary threshold is implemented. So this is an opportunity for you to explore other options. And I want to encourage you to, and you're aware that if you get a skilled worker visa, you will surely stay with your dependents, your partner and your children. It won't be an option or a problem at all. What I want to state clearly is that from what I've understood, from March 11th, the option for dependents of a care worker, as long as the code is 6145 and 6146, will not be in existence. It won't be there anymore. That is what I have understood. Until it is published on a proper government website, I won't say otherwise. That is my opinion. I'm just sharing my opinion so I don't get relaxed and get disappointed. This is tough, man. This is really tough. This is immigration we are talking about. You don't want to default by 1 hour. You don't want your wife or your kids to default, and you don't want to, plan to go to Canada and you are blacklisted, or you're given 10 years ban on, they turn down your application because you defaulted. You don't want that. So you have to prepare yourself accordingly. And also, if your employer needs to give you COS, or they promise you COS and it's taking very long, please advise them to choose the priority option. With that, you get it in less than 7 days. I think 5 to 7 working days. You get it faster. And that's what the government is concentrating on. There is this big delay backlog on people applying for COS, and they are concentrating on those people that pay for priority. It's actually more expensive. They are concentrating on those people first before any other person. So you should try your best to fight for your family, because people are going home. I don't want you to go home, especially if it's not your dream and it's not the plan. I don't know where you're coming from. Things are getting very difficult in different countries, and I feel it's very important that you plan properly. I actually wish you the best, and I pray that they would allow your dependents to stay. I really want it to happen. I really want you to be able to stay with your dependents in the UK, but I don't want you to be in trouble. I don't want you to be disappointed. I don't want you to believe that, oh, you've heard some YouTubers say is this, therefore is that you trust that this is how it's going to happen. The only way you can know what exactly that means is if it's from a government website that is not a blog. That's an official government website. An omission doesn't mean it's accepted. Until it's clearly stated, then you should accept it. I wish you the best. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.